Well, hello there. How's it going? Again, for the first time in a minute and a half or so. Today's video is going to be something kind of self-indulgent, but I'm going somewhere with it, trust me. A couple months back, I did a video basically outlining, well, a few months before that, I did a video talking about my perceived problems with this whole YouTube thing and ways I think we can make it better. And then a couple months ago, I did kind of a thing about should you yourself start YouTube. Now, it's a very popular subject, especially if you are trying to make a YouTube channel. You tend to get recommended lots of YouTube things, right? Like YouTube how-tos and YouTube gurus and all this other stuff. Like that's what you get on your suggestions when you do this. But I'm not going to sit here and take a long time to do this. This is going to kind of be kind of a recap and a reframing of something else that I saw. Because all those YouTube gurus and the people who tell you, oh, well, if you just change this one thing, it'll blah, 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 blah. And it doesn't actually work, but, you know, they got your watch time and your engagement and potentially your money if they have a program for you to sign up for. I was eventually, believe it or not, recommended by YouTube. So, yay, a video by this guy, Corey Campbell. Now, this was not the video specifically that I wanted to point out, although this video is interesting and he has a couple others. What he does, he's more of a sort of a long form verbal essay type person. And I watched a little bit of his stuff again because it was given to me one day. And basically TLDR of this video is he's basically doubling down on things that I have said before about how the rules for thee are not necessarily for me. Just because it works for you doesn't mean that it works for everybody. That for all the people who say, if you just change this one dumbass setting, it doesn't work. And in the fine print, it'll say, may not work. Even though we guarantee it, it may not work. You know, all that legalese jargon, you know, BS. But then, on top of another video that I saw, where he said, you know, basically making fun of the whole I'll never be famous thing because of how YouTube works. Then I found this video that I referenced earlier, and it talks about the soul crushingness of trying to appease the algorithm. Now, obviously, that is something that all YouTubers and all content creators on any platform talk about, is the big boogeyman in the room, the algorithm. Here's the thing. The algorithm is basically I don't know whether to call it a basic or so sophisticated that it breaks itself AI that basically says, okay, you kind of fit in this box, so we're going to see if we can put you in this box. Okay, it works. Okay, this box graduates you up to this box. But if you don't make it past this box, then no, you go back to hell where you belong and you stay there forever. It could use some fine tuning for, you know, those of us that don't really have a huge foothold here. I'm not going to rehash the video or even play clips from it. I mean, if you somehow found my video before you found his, it's a crime first. But, you know, I'd recommend you go watch it. Give the man some watch time because it's actually a pretty good video. I have never felt more seen and validated and more than I have watching that video. Because my biggest thing that I've always gone through and my biggest slamming my head against the wall thing that I've dealt with since I have tried to make something out of this is it doesn't really matter what kind of content I make, how good it is, how long it is, the retention, whatever little metrics that the people try to narrowly splice down the middle, because the difference between genius and pitiful failure is a razor thin margin that's basically a coin flip when you go to make the decision, is some videos do good, some videos are okay, some videos are pitiful, some videos take the hell off, some are pretty good, and it doesn't really matter. There's not really a theme, a trend, nothing. And it becomes really difficult when you're trying to establish some momentum on this site. It is incredibly difficult, nigh impossible, to continue to keep momentum going when you're throwing noodles against the wall and some stick, some don't, but they're kind of different shaped noodles. So it's not even like you can, you know, I might have a type of content that I'll throw out several times and it'll vary wildly depending on what I get. And I don't know if there's some minor difference in the subject matter, the time that it's posted, because it does make a difference. I've seen that. I've posted something didn't get engagement, took it down, posted it later, didn't get engagement, took it down, posted it again, had decent, like actually pretty good engagement. So don't let anybody tell you that doesn't matter. Obviously thumbnails don't matter because I've shown you pictures of blank thumbnails that get several thousand views or whatever. Again, that doesn't matter. But something, somehow, some way shines a light on some videos and other videos is sort of... And that's really difficult for people, you know, like me and like him and like other YouTubers who are well below the 0.2% or whatever, who are the, you know, upper echelon on this site, right? You always see the people who say, well, I never believed that I would ever become famous. I never dreamed in a million years. And that's one thing he mentions too, and I say it too. You think about it, regardless if you think it'll happen or not. When you go to push upload on a video, there's a moment where you say, I wonder, what if this is the time? Because nobody knows what will realistically happen when you click that upload button. All these people who are associated with the top YouTubers, who are part of the team of SEO people, who say, well, I can grow a channel from scratch to thousands of monetization in less than a couple of weeks. They don't know. Nobody knows what will happen when they click that upload button. It's just the difference between if you normally have a video that gets about 500K views, and for whatever reason, this week's video only got about 250K views. 250K views is still a massive, huge, big percentage more than, you know, somebody who might get 500 views on this video, but most of their videos get like a couple or, you know, 3 dozen or so. You know, the margin, yes, is wider for you, but you are still driving so much traffic to your video that it doesn't really matter that much. And then on the other side, you know, there's some times where it's like, look, this channel is clearly here just to kind of be somebody's hobby, or this is somebody recording stuff for whatever reason or whatever, you know, and it's not really meant to be a, you know, true YouTuber channel more as it is a documentary or some sort of thing like that, right? And so obviously it's not going to have the engagement numbers that something else would have. You don't see the almost complete majority in the middle of people who have the roller coaster, the inconsistent roller coaster of it's bad, it's bad, it's bad, it's okay, it's good, it's really good, it's okay, it's bad, it's really good, it's super good, it's bad, it's what you should not have even posted this video. And seeing something like that, honestly, like I said, kind of validated me. It made me feel a lot better about this because it, you know, I watch a lot of YouTube videos, and sometimes I'll watch videos not really paying attention to the view or the subscriber count of the person because it doesn't always put that front and center. And there's videos I'm like, wow, that's really good. And then I'll see that like the person had less subscribers than I do. And I'm like, wow, like I didn't know. Now, I don't know if they have enough engagement to justify them continuing to make content, but I'm sitting here thinking, wow, that's really good content. And like Corey Campbell's or other people like that, like it's good content. It's good, but, you know, it's still very, 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 very shallow numbers. The whole reason I bring this up, like I said, it's self-indulgent, yeah, but a lot of the reason why I bring this up is if you happen to be a YouTube wannabe, or you're doing anything else that you ask the question, what am I doing here? I'm not one of them. What am I trying to do here? How am I going to break into that? Just know that there are a lot more examples of people like you than you think you are. There's a lot more examples of people like you than there are of people who did make it. It is a very small margin of people who really, truly make it. Now, obviously, there's different levels of qualified success. And depending on what you're kind of okay with and where you sort of land, and if you're like, okay, I feel like I've done a thing now. But if anything, it's something for me to be like, hey, you know what? This hasn't been a total and complete abject failure. And maybe you, dear viewer, whatever it is that you're trying to do in life, maybe you understand that other people are kind of having the same problems you have. And that you're not the exception to the rule. You're not an outlier. You're not somehow the unlucky one. your story is actually way more common than everybody else's. And while that may make you feel like, oh damn, well, everybody's like this, I really am swimming upstream trying to make something happen here. Maybe there's some comfort to be taken in the fact that it's not specifically you that's, and I use giant quotes here, failing. It's how the game's played, and it's a hard game to win. But maybe, just maybe, it'll make you feel a little bit better. Maybe, just maybe, it'll make me feel a little bit better. Maybe, just maybe, I'll keep on doing this anyway. So, thank you much, and until next time.